Lien wiped grease from his hands and squinted at the horizon. The alien planet stretched endlessly, jagged mountains cutting the sky, and strange purple storms brewing in the distance. Most humans avoided this world, but Lien had never been one for safe choices. He liked challenges, machines, and figuring out how things worked, even in dangerous places. He had come to this remote region looking for old ship parts buried in the rocky terrain. His scanners had detected energy readings, but the signal was weak and broken. As he trudged through the rough ground, the air suddenly trembled. A deep, rumbling roar echoed across the cliffs, shaking loose stones and making him stumble. Lien froze. Dragons were common in the legends of this sector, but he had never seen one up close. And the sound, massive, powerful, and filled with anger, made him very aware of his small size. He slowly raised the scanner, careful not to appear threatening. Then he saw her, a massive dragon, scales dulled and cracked, wings bent awkwardly, and one claw dragging badly on the rocky ground. She had a large tear across her shoulder, and her eyes were fierce but wary. She was clearly in pain. Most humans would have run, but Lien didn't. Humans had a strange courage and curiosity, and he was no exception. "Hey!" he called softly, keeping his voice steady. "I'm not here to hurt you. Are you okay?" The dragon's eyes narrowed. She sniffed the air and hissed softly. Lien could see the exhaustion in her body, the way her wings trembled, and the jagged scar that ran down her flank. She was powerful, yes, but injured and alone. Humans had survived because they often acted when others hesitated, and helping could sometimes save a life, or build an unexpected bond. Lien reached slowly into his bag and pulled out a small nutrient pack he always carried for long trips. He tossed it gently toward her. "Here, you need something to eat? It's not much, but it will help." The dragon hesitated, then sniffed the pack carefully. Hunger was clear in her eyes, and finally, she lowered her head, letting the small pack slide toward her mouth. She ate quickly but carefully, keeping one sharp eye on Lien the whole time. "Good," Lien said, stepping closer but slowly, keeping his hands visible. "I can help you. I'm a mechanic. I fix things. Maybe I can fix you too." The dragon's nostrils flared, and she made a low, cautious rumble. Most humans would have panicked, but Lien stayed calm. He had learned that confidence, observation, and a willingness to act were often more powerful than size or strength. For hours, he worked carefully, using his tools, scanners, and whatever materials he had on hand. He cleaned the dragon's wound, tied makeshift bandages around her injured wing, and even adjusted her claw to reduce the pain. She hissed and growled at first, clearly frustrated at being handled. But humans had a strange way of gaining trust. Patience, clever solutions, and calm persistence. By sunset, the dragon could move more comfortably, and her breathing had steadied. She lowered her massive head, almost like a gesture of respect, though humans had never interacted with dragons in this way. Lien smiled. "See? We can work together. I help you, and maybe you help me survive out here." The bond wasn't immediate. Dragons were proud, fierce, and wary, especially one who'd been exiled from her clan. But humans had an unusual gift. They could understand fear, pain, and need in ways many other species overlooked. Lien waited, letting her approach on her own terms. Night fell, and the alien sky lit up with glowing auroras and streaks of distant meteors. Lien sat beside the dragon, keeping a careful eye on her while eating his own ration. Humans could be adaptable, and he had learned that sharing space, even with something dangerous, was possible if trust was earned slowly. The dragon watched him eat, then lowered her snout, nudging a piece of leftover food toward him. Lien laughed softly. All right, I get it. You can share too. Deal." Over the next few days, they moved together carefully. Lien helped the dragon find safe water and food, and in return, the dragon carried him across dangerous terrain, protected him from smaller predators, and showed him hidden caves where ancient machinery was buried. Humans had a way of learning quickly, observing, and turning knowledge into action. That skill, combined with bravery, allowed them to survive even among dragons. The dragon's clan had exiled her, and word spread fast. Other dragons occasionally appeared, watching from a distance, clearly suspicious. But Lien's cleverness and ingenuity kept them safe. He set small alarms using scraps of old ship parts, created warning signals, and even improvised traps that discouraged curious intruders. By the end of the week, a partnership had formed. Not friendship, not yet, but trust. The dragon allowed Lien closer, letting him help with her wing, and even letting him ride on her back carefully. Humans often form bonds where others couldn't, using honesty, cleverness, and courage. The human mechanic and the Exiled Dragon Mother become an unusual team. Small but resourceful, clever but strong, cautious but daring. They shared food, tools, and protection. And though danger was always near, the harsh planet, the Dragon Clan, and the unknown threats, they had formed the first spark of trust and partnership that could survive anything. Lien looked at the dragon, who was resting her massive head on a rock. "We can make a home here," he whispered. "Somewhere safe. Just for us, and if anyone tries to challenge us, we'll face it together." The dragon rumbled softly, a sound that almost sounded like agreement. In a universe where dragons ruled the skies and humans were small and underestimated, an unlikely partnership had formed, one powered by courage and intelligence, and a willingness to help when others would turn away. And somewhere deep in the mountains, hidden from the eyes of the Exiled Dragon's clan, their new adventure was just beginning. The alien sun had barely risen over the jagged mountains when Lien started working. The Dragon Mother, whose name he had not yet learned, watched from a nearby ledge, wings folded and eyes alert. Together, they had survived several days, but survival alone was not enough. They needed a safe place to call home. Lien had found the ruins of an old alien structure, half buried under rock and debris. Its walls were cracked, and some parts had collapsed, but the skeleton of the building suggested it could be restored. For most beings, it would have been hopeless. But humans had a strange ability to see possibilities where others saw only ruin. Lien's mind already ran through plans, imagining supports, repairs, and modifications. He cleared rubble with careful precision, using his mechanical tools to lift beams that seemed impossible for a human to move. The dragon stepped in, using her massive claws and wings to shift boulders and stabilize broken walls. Humans were clever, and dragons were strong. The combination worked in surprising ways. "This will do for the foundation," Lien said, pointing to a flat area near the center. "Once we secure it, we can start rebuilding the walls." The dragon lowered herself and pressed against the base, helping him lift a heavy metal beam into place. Lien smiled. Humans might be small, but their brains often made up for lack of size. By calculating angles, leverage, and balance, he could move structures heavier than himself with minimal effort. For days, they worked together. Lien repaired broken machinery left behind in the ruins, repurposing old alien tech to create tools for construction. The dragon brought logs, rocks, and debris from surrounding areas, carefully placing them where Lien directed. At night, they rested inside the half-rebuilt structure. The dragon curled protectively around the entrance, and Lien tinkered with small gadgets that could alert them to intruders. Humans had an unusual talent for creating clever devices from scraps. Even a simple alarm or signal could give them a significant advantage in a dangerous world. One evening, as the wind howled outside and distant storms painted the sky in purple and gold, Lien looked at the dragon. "You know," he said, "we make a good team. You're strong. Well, not strong, but I can figure things out. Together, we can survive anything." The dragon rumbled softly, a sound that seemed approving. Humans often built trust slowly, through actions more than words, and she was learning that this small creature could be relied upon. The work was not easy. The Exiled Dragon's clan still patrolled the area, curious and suspicious. Small scouts sometimes appeared, watching from a distance. Lien devised clever traps, simple mechanical alarms, hidden pitfalls, and decoys to alert them of any approaching threats. He had learned that humans could turn weakness into advantage. Small size, lack of natural power, and being underestimated could be used cleverly to outsmart bigger foes. One afternoon, a rock slide threatened the structure. Lien's calculations and quick thinking allowed him to reinforce a wall just in time. The dragon used her wings to push debris aside, and together they prevented a total collapse. Humans survived through observation and rapid problem-solving, and this small human had shown the dragon the advantage of brains over brute force. Slowly, the structure took shape. Walls were repaired, beams reinforced, and energy shields from alien tech created a barrier against storms and minor attacks. Lien designed a system to channel rainwater into a storage tank and filter scavenge from old alien devices to make it drinkable. Humans always adapted, finding solutions in hostile environments, and the dragon began to understand that these strange creatures could survive in ways dragons alone could not. The Dragon Mother, who had once been alone and hunted, began to trust him. She allowed him near her claws when feeding, let him guide her through narrow passages, and even let him ride on her back to scout dangerous terrain. Humans had a gift for forming alliances and understanding beings unlike themselves. The dragon could see that this partnership offered protection, clever solutions, and companionship. One evening, Lien stood at the edge of the rebuilt home, looking at the horizon. "It's not perfect," he said, "but it's ours. Safe for now. We can improve it. We can defend it. And we can survive here together." The dragon shifted, nudging him gently with her massive snout. Trust had grown between them, built on shared work, clever solutions, and human determination. Humans often turn impossible situations into workable solutions through intelligence, courage, and creativity. And this small mechanic had proven it. As night fell, the alien sky filled with streaks of light from distant meteors. Inside their new home, the dragon rested her wings, and Lien tinkered with small improvements, better alarms, more efficient water storage, and stronger energy shields. The partnership was more than survival. It was strategy, trust, and mutual respect. But Lien knew the dragon's clan would not ignore their survival for long. Scouts would report back, and bigger threats had come. He prepared quietly, creating additional defenses, analyzing weaknesses in the terrain, and thinking ahead. Humans had a way of planning for what others overlooked, and his ingenuity could give them an edge against even the most powerful dragons. By the end of the week, a clear pattern had emerged. Lien's cleverness combined with the dragon's strength had created a safe haven where none had existed. The home was protected from weather, minor predators, and even small intrusions from curious clan members. Humans often thrive where others fail because they could use brains and creativity to level the playing field. The Dragon Mother curled around the entrance as Lien adjusted a solar energy panel scavenged from ruins. She let out a low, approving rumble. For the first time in months, she was safe. For the first time, she had a companion she could trust. Lien smiled. "This is just the beginning," he said. "We have a home now, but if the clan comes, we'll be ready. Humans survive because we think, and we adapt. That's how we'll face whatever comes next." Above them, the alien night sky stretched endlessly, full of stars and possibilities. Together, a human and an exiled dragon mother had built a home from ruins, combining strength, ingenuity, and trust. And though danger lingered, the partnership they had formed would be their greatest weapon against whatever challenges awaited. The new home was strong, but the sense of danger never left. Lien knew the Dragon Mother's clan would soon learn of her survival. Rumors spread faster than wind on this planet, and scouts were always watching. Humans were often underestimated in these situations, but Lien had a talent for planning, observation, and clever defense. He had survived worse, and he would survive this too. One morning, a shadow fell across the home. Lien looked up and saw a small group of dragons hovering above the cliffs, peering down. They were scouts from the clan, lithe and aggressive, clearly testing the defenses. Most humans would have panicked. Lien didn't. Humans had a strange calm in tense situations. They analyzed, planned, and acted. "All right, buddy," he whispered to the Dragon Mother, who flexed her claws, wings twitching nervously. "They're curious, not yet dangerous. Let's show them they shouldn't mess with us." Lien had prepared for this. He triggered small mechanical devices around the perimeter, alarms that rattled rocks, small energy pulses that would startle intruders, and decoys that mimicked movement. The scout dragons flinched, some diving back in surprise, others circling warily. The human's ingenuity had created fear without using strength. The Dragon Mother rumbled, impressed. Humans were small yet clever, and she began to understand why some humans survived in dangerous places. Lien's quick thinking and ingenuity had kept them safe. Over the next several days, more scouts appeared. Lien noticed patterns in their behavior, how they approached, where they landed, how they observed the home. Humans were excellent at pattern recognition and adapting strategies based on observation. He modified his defenses. Traps, alarms, and warning signals became more precise. Even small mechanical tweaks from spare alien parts amplified the dragon's natural strength. One evening, while Lien was reinforcing a wall, a scout dragon swooped low, testing the home's walls. Lien reacted instantly. He flipped a switch, and a clever device redirected gusts of wind from a nearby cliff, creating a swirling barrier that forced the scout to retreat. Humans often turn surroundings into advantages. Even though he was small, Lien's mind made the environment work for him. The Dragon Mother watched quietly, wings folded. Her clan had been ruthless, but this human showed intelligence, creativity, and courage. Humans often succeeded where others relied on brute force. Lien's small size was no disadvantage when paired with his mind and careful observation. Night fell, and the scouts disappeared. But Lien knew it was only a matter of time before the clan's main force would arrive. He studied maps, terrain, and possible attack paths. Humans were planners by nature. They prepared for threats before they arrived. Lien designed fallback positions, warning devices, and escape routes, all while reinforcing the home's energy shields. The Dragon Mother moved beside him. "They will come," she said, her voice low and grave. "When they do, it will be dangerous. Many dragons could die." Lien nodded. "I know, but we'll be ready. You're strong, I'm clever, and together we can handle more than they expect." Humans survive by thinking ahead, not just fighting. Days passed, and tension grew. Every distant roar or shadow on the cliffs caused alertness. Lien maintained the home systems, repaired weak points, and modified defenses. He also trained the Dragon Mother to use the traps and warnings more effectively. Humans often thrive by teaching and cooperating, making allies stronger. One afternoon, a scout dragon landed just beyond the main gate. It snarled, circling cautiously. Lien activated a simple mechanical lever, sending a reflective pulse that startled the scout. The Dragon Mother let out a low growl, flexing her wings in readiness. The scout, confused and wary, flew back to the cliffs, reporting its findings. "That's good," Lien said, smiling faintly. Humans had always turned intelligence into power. Even when small and underestimated, clever solutions could keep them safe. The Dragon Mother nodded. Together, they were more than strong. They were smart. But the real test was coming. Lien knew the scouts were only the beginning. The clan would send its elite warriors, dragons who were larger, stronger, and more aggressive. Most beings would be terrified. Humans often faced overwhelming odds, but survived because of ingenuity, preparation, and courage. That night, under the glowing alien sky, Lien and the Dragon Mother stood together atop the rebuilt walls. "Tomorrow will be the real test," Lien said quietly. "But we're ready. They'll learn that brains and courage matter just as much as claws and fire." The Dragon Mother lowered her head slightly, acknowledging his words. Trust had grown between them. The small human had turned ruins into a home, danger into strategy, and fear into preparation. Humans might be weak in size, but in creativity, planning, and courage, they were extraordinary. In the shadows, the clan was watching. They did not yet understand that this tiny human and the Exiled Dragon Mother had formed an alliance unlike any they had seen. Most dragons relied on strength alone, but humans combined intellect and courage to overcome danger. As night deepened, Lien continued his work. Sensors were adjusted, energy shields reinforced, and traps tested. Every small improvement was another step toward survival. Humans had survived harsh worlds for countless generations by adapting, improvising, and preparing for the unexpected. Lien applied the same principles here. By the time the twin moons rose, the home was fortified, traps set, and warnings in place. The Dragon Mother lay near the entrance, eyes scanning the cliffs, trusting in the humans' cleverness. Together, they had created not just a home, but a stronghold capable of withstanding the initial threats from the clan. The air was thick with tension. Tomorrow, the clan's deadliest challenge would arrive. But Lien and the Dragon Mother were ready. Humans might be small, often underestimated and lacking natural power, but their brains, ingenuity, and courage often made them unpredictable and unstoppable. For the first time in many months, the Dragon Mother felt hope. Together, they could face whatever came next. And humans had a way of surprising everyone, even a clan of mighty dragons. The morning sky was dark with swirling clouds, an unnatural shade of green that hinted at the storm brewing beyond the cliffs. Lien checked his tools one last time. The air vibrated with tension. Today, the Dragon Clan's elite warriors would arrive. The scouts had already reported back, and the main attack was imminent. Most humans would have panicked at the thought of facing dozens of massive dragons, but Lien's mind thrived under pressure. Humans survived not because they were strong, but because they could think, plan, and improvise. The Dragon Mother stood beside him, wings folded tightly against her sides. Her scars and exiled past made her cautious, but she trusted this small human with strategies and devices that could make a difference. "They will come," she said in a low rumble. "They will burn, claw, and destroy everything we have built." "We'll be ready," Lien replied, adjusting a small energy trap near the entrance. "We might be small compared to them, but brains could be just as strong as claws." Hours later, shadows appeared on the distant cliffs. The elite warriors arrived, massive dragons with sharp scales, glowing eyes, and wings that cast enormous shadows. They roared in unison, signaling their challenge. Lien took a deep breath. Humans often survive by staying calm when others would panic, and he focused on observation. The first wave descended. Lien activated the traps he had prepared. Small energy pulses blocked paths, mechanical nets dropped to slow their approach, and reflective surfaces confused their eyes. The Dragon Mother launched into the fray, using her strength to push attackers into Lien's devices. Together, human ingenuity and dragon power created a combination the clan had never expected. One massive dragon tried to smash the entrance. Lien triggered a pressure plate that released a counterweight, dropping boulders in the right positions to block it. The dragon growled, caught off guard. Humans could improvise solutions in the heat of battle, turning the environment into their weapon. Another dragon swooped from above, flames ready to scorch the home. Lien adjusted a mirror device that redirected the heat upward, causing the flames to dissipate harmlessly into the clouds. The elite dragons had never faced traps like this. Brute strength was useless against clever strategies. The Dragon Mother, inspired by Lien's actions, adapted her attacks. She learned to guide enemies into the clever traps, using her weight and fire in combination with the humans' inventions. Humans often survive because they work with allies, amplifying their strengths, and this partnership demonstrated that principle perfectly. The battle continued for hours. Lien ran from device to device, repairing damaged systems, activating alarms, and modifying defenses on the fly. Every move was calculated. Every small mechanical advantage could change the tide. The elite dragons began to realize that the human was not just a minor nuisance. He was a threat in ways they could not predict. At one point, a dragon lunged directly at Lien. Most humans would have been caught instantly. Lien dived to the side, grabbed a nearby lever, and triggered a device that released a smoke screen filled with dazzling lights. The dragon stumbled back, confused and disoriented. Humans survived dangerous situations through quick thinking and creativity, and Lien's actions proved it. The tide of battle began to turn. The elite dragons were powerful, but predictable in some ways. Lien observed patterns in their attack, timing, and positioning. Humans had an ability to notice details others ignored. He set traps in anticipation, used the terrain cleverly, and guided the Dragon Mother to strike at just the right moment. The final challenge came when the largest warrior, the clan's champion, entered the field. Its scales glowed with heat, eyes burning, and every muscle prepared to destroy. Lien did not panic. He ran to a control panel he had designed for emergencies, activating a system that created a moving barrier of energy shields. The champion charged blindly into defenses, slowed and confused, giving the Dragon Mother an opening. She struck with precision, knocking the champion off balance and forcing it to retreat. The rest of the elite warriors, seeing their champion fail against a small human and an exiled dragon, faltered. Confusion spread. Lien's clever use of traps, mechanical devices, and timing had turned fear and chaos into advantage. Humans often survive because they could think faster, plan better, and adapt to changes in real time. By the end of the day, the battlefield was quiet. The clan had retreated, unwilling to risk further losses against the unexpected combination of human ingenuity and dragon strength. Lien wiped sweat from his forehead and looked at the Dragon Mother. "We did it," he said. Brains and courage beat brute force. Every time. The Dragon Mother lowered her massive head, touching Lien gently with her snout. "You are unlike any human I have known," she said. Small, yet capable of changing the outcome of battles even dragons thought they would win. Humans had always survived because they could adapt, improvise, and act where others relied on strength alone. Lien had proven this lesson perfectly. He had faced dragons far stronger than himself and, using only intelligence, courage, and clever devices, had protected their home. As night fell, the Dragon Mother curled protectively around the rebuilt home. Lien checked the devices one last time, adjusting them for any future attacks. Humans often survive by being prepared, thinking ahead, and learning quickly from every encounter. Their small size was no weakness when paired with quick thinking and strategy. "I never thought humans could be so clever," the Dragon Mother said quietly. "You make me realize why your kind survives where others fail." Lien smiled. "Brains can be stronger than fire or claws," he replied. "And sometimes humans just have to show it to survive." Above them, the alien sky glowed with strange colors, but inside their home, safety and trust reigned. They had faced the deadliest challenge, and humans had proven that intelligence, ingenuity, and courage could overcome raw power, even the strength of a dragon clan. Together, they had survived. Together, they had won. And humans, once underestimated, had shown their greatest strength, the ability to survive, adapt, and succeed where others would fail. The sun rose slowly over the rugged mountains, casting golden light on the rebuilt home. Lien stood at the edge of the platform, scanning the horizon. The Dragon Mother shifted beside him, wings folded but alert. After the battle with the clan's elite warriors, the area was quiet. For the first time, they felt a sense of victory that went beyond survival. Humans were small, but their brains, courage, and ingenuity often allowed them to achieve the unexpected. Today, that truth had been proven. Lien inspected the home one last time, checking the energy shields, traps, and structural reinforcements. Everything held. Nothing was damaged beyond repair. The human had survived the deadliest challenge, not through strength, but by thinking, observing, and adapting. The Dragon Mother watched him, her eyes reflecting pride and respect. Most dragons never trusted a human fully, but this one had proven exceptional. "I can't believe it," she said softly, her rumble low and thoughtful. "Your cleverness, your planning, you saved us both." Lien shrugged, a small smile on his face. Humans survive by thinking, not just fighting. Size isn't everything. Brains, courage, and knowing when to act, that's what matters. He tapped a device that had helped them turn the battlefield to their advantage. And a little creativity doesn't hurt either. The Dragon Mother let out a low, approving rumble. Humans were often underestimated in the galaxy. Weak, small, and fragile in appearance, they had a way of turning disadvantages into strengths. Lien had done exactly that, proving the value of clever thinking over raw power. As they moved through the home, Lien noticed the changes they had made. Broken walls were now reinforced. Old alien machinery had been repurposed into tools and defenses, and small gardens provided food and water. Every improvement showed human ingenuity, combined with the dragon's strength, creating a safe haven that could withstand nearly anything. "Do you think the clan will try again?" Lien asked, keeping his tone calm. Humans often plan for the future, preparing for problems before they happened. The Dragon Mother shook her massive head. "Perhaps, but they will think twice now. You've shown them that size and strength alone are not enough. They have underestimated humans, and that mistake could save many lives." Lien smiled. Humans often thrive because others underestimated them. Their small size, fragile bodies, and lack of natural weapons made them seem weak. But their brains, courage, and resourcefulness turned situations around in ways no one expected. Days passed, and the home became more than a shelter. It became a symbol of possibility. Birds and small alien creatures returned, sensing safety. Streams were redirected into reservoirs, and solar panels harvested energy efficiently. The Dragon Mother taught Lien more about flying, sensing weather changes, and understanding alien threats. Humans adapted quickly, learning from allies, and Lien's skills grew alongside the dragon's experience. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the mountains, the Dragon Mother nudged Lien gently. "You have changed my life," she said. "I was exiled, alone, and hunted. Now, because of your courage and cleverness, we have a home, safety, and a future." Lien laughed softly. "We did it together. Humans are clever, yes, but teamwork matters. You've been as important as I have. Alone we would have failed, but together we survived and won." The dragon lowered her massive head, allowing Lien to rest against her scales. Humans often form bonds in ways other species could not. Trust, shared danger, and mutual respect built connections that could last a lifetime. For the Dragon Mother, this human had become more than a companion. He was a partner in survival and triumph. The horizon was calm, but Lien knew the galaxy would never be entirely safe. Other dragons, alien creatures, and unpredictable storms awaited. But humans survived because they could think, adapt, and act when others hesitated. Lien was ready for whatever came next. "I think we're ready for more," he said. "More exploration, more building, more challenges. The galaxy is huge, and humans, well, we're good at surviving anywhere." The Dragon Mother let out a soft, approving roar. "Then we will face it together. Your cleverness and my strength will guide us. No clan, no storm, no enemy can stop us now." Lien and the dragon spent the next days expanding the home. They built new structures, strengthened defenses, and even designed clever traps to warn against distant threats. Humans had a way of improving and innovating constantly, turning small victories into long-term safety. The Dragon Mother adapted to their shared strategies, learning that survival depended not just on raw power, but on intelligence and careful planning. Word of their victories slowly spread. Other dragons, scouts from distant clans, and even curious alien travelers came to see the unusual partnership. Humans had often been underestimated, but stories of a small mechanic who had survived and triumphed alongside a powerful dragon inspired respect. Lien understood that humans thrive in unexpected ways. Brains over brawn, courage over fear, and adaptability over brute force. At sunset, Lien and the Dragon Mother sat atop the highest cliff near their home, looking out at the alien landscape. Mountains stretched endlessly, rivers glimmered in the distance, and strange storms painted the sky in incredible colors. The home they had built was safe, a testament to human ingenuity and the strength of trust. "You know," Lien said, "humans may be small, but we survive. We build, we adapt, and sometimes we even win against the impossible." The Dragon Mother rumbled in agreement, wings stretching in the wind. "And now we have a future. Together, nothing can stop us." The galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but Lien had learned a fundamental truth. Humans often succeeded not because of strength, but because of cleverness, courage, and the ability to work with others. Today, they had faced the deadliest challenge, survived, and built a home. Tomorrow, new adventures awaited, but they were ready. Humans could be underestimated, fragile, and small, but when courage, intelligence, and determination combined, they became unstoppable. Lien smiled as he watched the twin moons rise, knowing this was only the beginning. Together, a human and an exiled dragon mother had created a home, conquered threats, and opened the door to new horizons. And in that moment, Lien realized that the galaxy was not only survivable, it was theirs to explore,